Hi, how are you? So let me welcome Kathleen on my channel and welcoming you all. So Kathleen, can you please introduce yourself to my YouTube family?
Yeah. So I'm Caitlin. I grew up on the east coast of Canada. I'm from a small town of less than 10,000 people. Growing up, I dreamt
Okay.
a lot of becoming a creator and performing and stuff like that. And that's a lot of the motivation for why I do video creation now.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen some of your TikTok video, like Instagram reels. I really found it interesting. So that's something good about you. Like, and you can you please tell me like where did you grow up basically in Canada?
So I grew up in the province of Nova Scotia in a small town called Truro, and I actually still live there.
Oh, that's cool. So I've got a question like how is it working in Canada? Do you find being here is advantage or disadvantage professionally?
It's definitely an advantage professionally, and I think that most Canadians don't realize how advantaged we are. Um, there's definitely more opportunities in the States in terms of getting more income, but being in Canada it just really takes away a lot of barriers for you, even if you want to work in the States. And there's even really good employment here as well. So yeah,
And you know
definitely.
what? Like there are most Punjabis of my country, like they wanted to go to Canada, like no other country. So why there's like this? Most of
I
the
think
Punjabis wanted to travel.
it's because of the not only the work opportunities here, but the culture and the nature. There's a really special culture here in Canada. People are very polite and very friendly, and it's very welcoming. There definitely are some like issues like there are in the States as well, but there's just I find it so much less here, and there's so much land. It's so beautiful.
Okay, so let's talk about Canada. Like you was born and spent the whole of your life there. So what can you say are some of the biggest misconceptions which about your country, like you would like to say personally?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that we live in igloos and that there's a lot of polar bears that are just running around. Um, we don't all live
Okay,
in igloos. There are probably some people that do. That's very far north, but it's
okay.
actually a lot warmer here for most of the year, and there's four seasons. So that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions people might have, and yeah,
And
also the health.
how about the living thing? Like this is a misconception. Like living in Canada is very expensive. So like, is this true or like just a misconception which you guys have?
It can be expensive. It depends where you live. In the bigger cities, it's definitely a lot pricier. And I find that our purchasing power parity, it doesn't go quite as far as it might
Okay.
in developing countries. But it can be affordable depending where you live.
Oh, great. So like, can you please tell me what are the some places that truly inspires you to visit again and again?
Okay, so there's a really, really beautiful place in my home province, and it's called the Cape Breton Highlands. And it's so stunning there. It's like a whole kind of set of islands that are in the north of my province, and it's
Okay.
very, very gorgeous.
And like, like personally, I have to visit Canada. Like, what are the places you want to recommend me? Like when I will coming to Canada?
You definitely would want to visit the Canadian Rockies. Those are something really amazing to see. I haven't been there myself, but it's like a must-see destination. Niagara Falls is fantastic.
Yeah,
Montreal,
I've heard a lot about Niagara Falls. Yeah, I have
I've been there.
so many
It's
videos, so many
amazing.
pics. It's like a beautiful destination, you can say. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a perfect question. So I'll be visiting that. And yeah, I have to ask, like, how has it been living here during the pandemic? Like all over the globe, things were not okay. People were dying to even get food. So how it has been living in Canada during the pandemic?
Well, when it first happened, our government was very strict. So they imposed a lot of restrictions straight away, not as strict as some other countries. So to adjust to that was very difficult. But
Okay,
the east coast of Canada in particular did a very, very good job with basically we were like a bubble. So they didn't let anyone from the rest of Canada come to these like three provinces on the east coast. And because of that, they
okay,
were able to control the pandemic really, really well. So we actually have been able to have a pretty decent lifestyle despite that and really enjoy a lot of the freedoms and luxuries that some places can't right now. We've actually been featured in some news outlets because of how good the quality of life is during the pandemic here.
So do you guys have to follow some kind of rules during the pandemic, that was normal like any other day, or like
Yeah,
there's something different?
we have to wear masks in public. So there's even at the gym, you have to wear a
Yeah.
mask unless you're lifting weights. If you're in between, if you're in between like a set of weights and a different piece of equipment, you have to put the mask back on. So that's pretty much the only restriction we deal with. Yeah, and then social distancing too, of course.
There's one comment coming from Umesh. Hi Umesh, how are you? Nice to have you in my live. Okay, so like, Kathleen, tell me like, what can we do in Canada that nowhere else in the world? Like, there's something unique
Oh,
which you Canada have to offer.
okay. So in my home province, there is it's called tidal bore rafting. So are you familiar with whitewater rafting?
Yeah, I've seen so many
Yeah.
videos on Insta, like on YouTube, you can say.
So there's a really cool thing that we have here, and it's similar to whitewater rafting, except the rapids are formed because of how fast the tide comes in. So it's actually you're rafting in it's called the Schubernachery River,
Okay,
and it's really this really weird thing happens where the whole amount of the tide, like all the seawater, comes in within 2 hours. So you get these huge waves that are anywhere from like 10 to 20 feet that start to form, but they're only there
okay.
for like a few minutes. So you have to time when the tide comes in perfectly and then take the
Oh my
customers
God.
out and raft on them. And then they'll go away and you have to keep moving along the river. So we actually have the highest tides in the world here. And there's a combination of factors that make that happen. And it's really fun. I used to actually work
So,
there.
oh, you worked there. That's cool.
I
Like
did.
you have exploded many a times. So
Yeah.
how was your experience? Like how tour travelers come and like how they like there might be many people who for them it will be the first time. So how they react to that? Like this is something adventure you're trying to give them.
Yeah, it's very adventurous. Depending on which trip that they're on, at first it's like pretty quiet because the river is so calm. But then as soon as the tide
Okay.
comes in, like you can actually see the tide coming in. It's like you see a wall of water coming. It's anywhere from like 2 feet to 8 feet high, and then all of a sudden like all these rapids start to form. So for them, it's very
Okay.
adventurous, very fun. We get a lot of people from around the world that come and do it. Not as many locals realize how much of an experience it is, but internationally, it's like it's much more known.
Kathleen, as you work there, so when I will be coming to that place, certainly I will be getting some kind of discount. You can say, right? Right? Because you will be having that approved. Yeah. Okay. You know what? When I was googling about the Canada, I found this like Canadians are too much talkative. So talkative about like they want to talk about weather. You can say. So do you want to say something about that? Like, is that true or like
Yeah.
it's just like misconception which I have?
Okay, so I didn't
So
realize like why we talked about the weather so much until I actually left and lived in California for a few months, and I noticed
okay.
because in other places the weather is so consistent from day to day, but in Canada, even just a few weeks ago, we had one day where it was warm and sunny. It was like I don't know, 17 degrees Celsius. It was very warm for winter, and then the next day we had a huge snowstorm with several feet of snow. So
Oh.
because of that, like even in a matter of hours, you can have raining and cloudy, and then it can be like sunny and bright. So I think it's common ground that we can all relate to, and it's very unique because we have the four seasons and these really interesting weather patterns that happen here.
So do you guys have a normal weather like a whole around the year? Or like it's just different, you can say.
It's just different. It's just always changing. It might be cloudy and overcast, and then sunny the next day. It's always changing.
Hey, there is one comment coming from Bundelkhand, Hi Monu blog. No, Umesh is my friend. So he's watching my live video from Blaze. So it's just appreciating thing you can say. And hi Bundelkhand, Uttar Pradesh. So next question I have, like how did you survive the lockdown being on your own? Like, has anything changed about your perspective of life since the pandemic has arrived? Like everything has changed. My perspective about my life has changed. So there's some kind of thing you have changed about your perspective. And how did you survive lockdown? So basically, that's what I want to ask.
Yes, definitely. So I was living with my brother when it happened, and my ex partner as well. So I found that when the lockdown first started, it was really nice because we had a few people together. So it wasn't as scary because we had each other, and we played a lot
Yeah,
of video games. Like
yeah, that's good.
I think that's how we cope. We played this one game called Ark, and
Okay.
it's like a game where you tame dinosaurs. So that we just played that for like 10 hours a day, and we like
Oh
we
my
would
God.
cook food. So that was how we coped. I think since it, like, I just appreciate things a lot more now. I appreciate my friends and family more. I appreciate my local community more, and I'm really yeah, I guess I value it more. And when I am able to travel again, I'll have a deeper appreciation for my home.
And you know what? There was one question I was asking before, like why Punjabi used to go Canada. So there was one guy, Bundelkhand, Uttar Pradesh. He's asking the same question. So can you please tell that again? Like why Punjabis like love to go to Canada, not any other places? Like I've heard that when I have some Punjabi friend who would like to go Canada again and again, like no other country. So why is that thing? He
Yeah,
wanted
so
to ask.
I have a few Punjabi friends, and they talk about the culture here and that it's safe. And I think like because it's very beautiful as well. I'd have
Yeah.
to like ask more specifically like why Canada and not the States. But that was like the few things that I got from them.
So okay, like so. What Punjabi have told about our country to you? Can you please share that? Like it's something exciting. I wanted to hear what they have told you about our
They
country.
love Vancouver. Yeah, my friend really, really loves Vancouver. Like, it's on British Columbia. It's on the West Coast, and he said it's just phenomenal there. Like, there's so much to do. There's a lot of other like Punjabis and other Indians there. So there's and really, really good food. Like, there's places where you can get like Indian tea, really good Indian restaurants. Like, just a lot of stuff to do, and really like just beautiful beaches, beautiful scenery.
That's good. My
Yeah,
question was like, what Punjabi have shared with you about our country as a India? Like, do you have some kind of
the
like
food.
what they have shared?
The
Yeah,
food is amazing.
that's amazing. You can experience a different kind of dishes in the distance of 20 kilometer each. Like there's lots of diversity in our culture, and that's our strength. You can say, and I
Yeah.
love that. And there's one question coming from Avilas. He's my friend. Like, why Toronto is called a six and different time zone in Canada? He wanted to ask about that. Can you read
Oh,
that comment?
I don't know if I can see it. I can't see it here. But why does Toronto have a different time zone? Or well,
Okay.
it's interesting because we have. Is he asking you about the? Are they asking you about the time zone?
So now he's asking like why Toronto is called a six. This is something I have heard first time.
Oh, the six. So it's because
Yeah.
of the area code. So I think the area
Uh,
code for Ontario and Toronto is 646, and Drake has coined it. Drake's like a famous Canadian rapper, so he's coined it as the six.
that's good. Different time zone in
I
Canada.
promise.
Like do you have different kind time zones in Canada itself only?
Different what?
Different time zones. Do you have that time zones different in your country?
Yeah, we do. We have several different time zones. All the way in Vancouver, it's 4 hours behind where I am. Even there's a province close to where we are that it has only a half-hour difference. So it's a lot different
That's
than India, because India, I didn't realize, has only one time zone, but the States actually follows the same
okay.
time zone. Yeah, structure.
There is one my friend Umesh. He's asking like what do Canadians eat? Like what they have in their food? Just tell me about that. He's asking.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
it depends. Like where I'm from, traditionally people eat a lot of seafood. It's a lot of like meat, potatoes, vegetables. It doesn't taste as good as Indian food. I'll like just to be blunt, and that's why we love international food so much, because we're so fascinated with the spices. The reason that
Yeah.
that is because traditionally, because the weather here, you don't have the same access to the ingredients and spices that you have in warmer tropical countries. So a
Yeah.
lot of, yeah,
We
you would
are
have
masters in spices food. You can say like we can
yeah,
give you any kind of dishes you would like to have
I
in our
know.
restaurants.
Yeah. A lot of our food
Yeah.
traditionally is from like root vegetables, so people would have to store them in the winter time. And you'd have to dry the herbs and spices and store them over the winter as well. People would pickle things to preserve them. So because of that, there's not as much variety in the taste. And but
Okay.
since we've been able to import things, it's changed a bit. And I think that because Canada is so diverse, we also adopt The
Yeah,
cuisine
yeah.
is
Like Abhilash is saying, there are six time zone in Canada. So is that true? Do you guys
yeah.
have six time zones?
I don't know the exact
That's why.
probably. Yeah.
Okay. So this is like we discuss about the audience.
Yeah.
There is one question which I have. Like, what kind of Canada do you hope after this pandemic all gets over and things will
Mhm.
become normal again? So what kind of Canada do you hope? Like better one or like the how Canada was before, like that. So
Yeah, so before the pandemic, we never like a lot of people didn't have any income from the government. So since the pandemic happened, what the government has done is actually given people money to supply their basic needs. And I
that's
think
good.
they realize that people, I think, need that, especially with the economic landscape. It's a lot harder to find employment now. So I think that I'd like to see universal basic income for at least a certain amount. So then people have more freedom and certainty and security. And I'd like to see more people immigrating here as well because I think we have so much to offer. There's so much land here, and I think that it would be really beneficial for people to come here so we can have more like just more people and more diversity and share more of our culture with other people.
Okay, there's one question coming from Bundelkhand, Uttar Pradesh. What is famous there in Canada? Like a big thing. Like what is the famous? You can say. Like in
What is
Niagara Hills, you have already shared. What is the famous in Canada?
the
What is the
what?
thing that is famous? What is the thing that is famous in Canada? Famous thing,
Famous?
like popular. Yeah.
Oh, in terms of culture or food,
In terms of anything, that's a famous, popular thing you can say.
poutine.
Really? Oh my God.
Canadians are famous for poutine. Are you familiar with poutine?
Yeah, I have heard about like Putin. Like what I'm thinking right now, I don't know. Is it the same thing? So what do you want to say about that?
So
Just
poutine,
describe.
it's like it's a dish where you have fries and you have cheese curds and gravy and you can put different spices on it, and it's really popular in Quebec, and it's something that I guess
Okay.
Canadians are known a lot for. We're also very well known for saying the words sorry a lot. Like we apologize for everything. If you bump into someone at the grocery store by accident, both people say sorry. Like,
Oh, that's good. And how much did this cost actually? How much this cost in Indian rupees? You can say. But like
poutine.
in your yeah, how much did this cost?
Here it would cost maybe about $5. $5 Canadian. Let me see
Okay.
what it would what that costs Canadian to rupees. I'm trying to find out how much it costs.
Now I
Okay,
can
so
convert that in our. It's around 75, 350 rupees. You can say.
yeah, it says 287. So yeah, maybe 280 to 300.
Thank you, Dheeraj, for appreciating my work. Like there's one guy, Dheeraj, he's saying like nice job. Thank you. So
Yay!
yeah, let's move on our next question, which I have. As we know,
Mhm.
race has become an important issue for discussion in 2020 all over the world. So would you be open to share your experience in Canada and offer tips to the people who are coming from different nations to work and live in Canada, like who are in different color?
Yeah, so it's difficult for me to just to like speak on it too much because I don't experience the same thing that someone would who's a visible minority. But what
Okay.
I would say is just to communicate as openly as possible and then find people that you can talk to in case you do have an experience where someone maybe doesn't understand your culture or treats you differently because of it. I think that because there's such a huge difference in the culture that friends it's really great thing to bond with a friend, especially because like Canadians love international food. It's so different from what we've tried. So I would recommend using those differences as a way to connect with other people and share those experiences. And I guess also just connecting with other people that maybe are if you can find other people that are from India or from other countries,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
if you ever do experience any kind of racism, which I think it might be more common in smaller communities, but I
Like
honestly
you know
don't
what,
know.
like in lockdown we have heard this news from like America and Canada, like you say, like people were protesting against Black Lives Matter. Have you heard about that movement? So this is
Oh
what
yeah,
I'm asking, like
yeah.
yeah, So people coming from different color to Canada and want to work there. So will they face any kind of racism or like discrimination among white and black in Canada?
So, well, I would say yes, but again, like I don't experience because I'm not black, right? So it's hard for me to say like what that would be like. But I definitely any friends that I have that are either black or they're from another country, most of them have had a few experiences at least, or if not more, where they have. I think that newer generations are less racist, but because of the history with slavery here, it's very ingrained in the system, and I think that the Black Lives Matter movement has made a lot of people aware of that. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
push to combat that and fight it. Um, it's definitely very taboo to be racist. Like it'd be very frowned upon if someone is racist. But with that being said, it definitely does still happen sometimes.
Yeah. You know what? There's one question coming from my friend Nishant. Do Canadians follow cricket?
No, not some do. Some do.
Yeah.
I used to play some cricket sometimes with my
Oh
Punjab.
my God, that's something good.
Yeah,
You play cricket, yeah, that's good. I love to
yeah.
hear
Sometimes
that.
when it's warm
Like,
outside and we have space, yeah, we play cricket. But
like
it's fun.
Nishant is very much keen. Like he wanted to know about cricket. Like he's like his favorite game is cricket. You can say since childhood. He like his love. You can say the cricket. So that's why he's asking the question regarding that. Do
Oh,
Canadians
that's
follow cricket?
amazing.
And there's one. Harun, thank you. Abhilash, what is Nova Scotia famous for?
No,
Abhilash is asking this question. Yeah.
it's famous for a lot of the tourist destinations here. There's a lot of really beautiful beaches here. Cape Breton is really beautiful. Peggy's Cove, very popular tourist spot. We have a stronger accent than other parts of Canada do, and also donaires.
Good.
So that's a
Any
kind of
questions?
yeah, that's a kind of food that we have here. It's like spiced meat and onions and tomatoes and sauce and like a pita. And I think it's only found on the East Coast. Some other parts of
You know what? I was asking like, did she visit India? If not, then please ask her to visit here. Yes, she has already to visit India, and you know what?
yeah,
Where she has visited? She has visited our state, Uttar Pradesh, and she was then Bareilly for like how many days you were there in Bareilly?
I was in Raleigh for like a month.
Oh my! So can you please speak some words in Hindi? Like I want to
हाँ,
listen
मेरा
you.
नाम केलन है और मैं अच्छी हूँ.
Nice to hear that. You speak Hindi also. That's good. Some of my friends will be very happy. And she will love in this place. Yeah, I think you love India, right? The
It
way
was really
Nainital.
cool. Like the people are so friendly. The food is amazing. It's very different from Canada, especially because there's so many more people here. Like you walk outside, you don't see another person for like a while. Like there's a lot of open space here, but in India it was so developed. So it was so different for me. But
Okay,
the
so
people,
that's good.
yeah,
There's one question coming from Harun, my friend. Like, how is the condition of hotel industry there in Canada right now?
of the food industry.
Hotel industry.
Hotel industry. I think
Yeah.
that Airbnb, so it's had to shift quite a bit. The hotels, I don't think are as busy. There is a lot of smaller vacation rentals, the like Airbnb, where it's self-hosted. They have had to shift to, I think, like either people that are traveling locally or longer term rentals. So instead of doing maybe like 1 or 2 nights, I believe that Airbnb would have shifted to having maybe longer term stays, people that are staying for like a month at a time or maybe a few weeks. So I think that it's not nearly as busy. The hotels probably are suffering a lot more than Airbnb. But I think that
So do
people
you so do you have any idea like how is the job opportunities for Indian guys there in Canada? Like some of the Indians who has done a bachelor's in hotel management and like they wanted to work in Canada in hotel industry. So how is the
oh,
scope for them?
okay,
Yeah.
so we have a very cool program here in the east coast of Canada where it actually can fast track the immigration process if you're a skilled worker. So it's called the
Okay.
Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, and it's a famous program. A lot of people apply internationally because if you're a skilled worker, you can be eligible for your permanent residency within 2 years. without having
Okay.
to take education here. So I think in terms of that, if you can, it's very competitive. If you can get into it, it's very good. Um, I don't know as much about. Yeah, I mean, my Punjabi friends, they all have jobs. One is a mechanic. He finds it really good. I'm not sure about other industries, but I think that there's good prospects here.
Okay. So there's one like Nishant and Ayush is appreciating your Hindi and the way you play cricket. Yeah. So this is appreciation for you.
Aww, thank you.
Thanks, Umesh. Thanks, Umesh. So yeah, let's move on the question which I have for you. What kind of education system your country follows? L-
So we have a primary through 12 education system. And then after people graduate from grade 12, they would either go to college to get a diploma, or they might go to university to get a bachelor's degree and then maybe a master's and a PhD.
So the similar like Indians, like what we have,
Yeah,
the primary schools, then the high school, then the secondary high school, and then the graduations. There's
yeah.
nothing different. Like and how your parents impose their decisions on you. Like here in India, parents plays a major or vital role educating their child. So what about you guys?
In terms of like how the parents influence people to pursue
Like like
career
like
or
yeah. Like in terms of influence, like how much influence your parents have on you guys?
okay, so my generation, most of our parents really wanted us to finish, do college and university. I think that's changing now, and they're becoming more accepting. But I found for a long time, Canadian parents were very focused and very strict on their children getting a good education and a stable job. Obviously, that's changed quite a bit now. So people are, because what happened was so many people got education that now the whole market was flooded with people that had degrees that were a lot of times overqualified for things. So they're more,
Yeah,
I think, accepting of their children and wanting them to pursue like what will make them happy, but also, finish your grade 12 and then, maybe get some college or other training, and, do what makes sense.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So like how about family system, like how children depend on their parents, like as in India we have a collective family system and America follow individualistic family system. So what about your country? Like like child become 18, then they leave their child in on their own, or like they still feed, or like they manage to develop that child, you can say. So how
Well,
your country follows family system, you can say.
I think some of that's changing. So traditionally, if you were 18, like you had to leave. Like the parent was like,
Yeah.
you need to go. I think now some families that I know, they are staying with their parents. Like they move back home and live with them. So I think that
Okay.
in some cases, that happens. Most people will leave and go to school. That was traditionally what would happen. Get their own apartment. But it seems to be like more common now that some people will actually live, but it's also not too common. So it's like shifting a bit right now.
Okay. So what about
Yeah.
women equality? Like, is women and men are treated equally there in Canada, or like there's some kind of discrimination, or like that I want to
There's
ask.
some, yeah, there's still some discrimination at work. I find that I think some women get paid less in some professions than men do. But with that being said, women have fought really hard for their rights in Canada, and we really value equality. So if we ever, I think, experience that, we're very apt to speak up about it. We have a lot of other women supporting us, and I think generally that the gap between men and women in terms of equality has been closed quite a bit in the past few generations. It's much more equal now.
And like, how about job personally? Like, do you guys prefer government jobs or private sector? Like here in India, we guys are dying to get government jobs. Like, if you get government job, there's a one misconception which we guys have. We'll be getting a nice, beautiful bride, and family will be happy if we will be, if we will be having government jobs. And like, if we are doing private jobs, then it is not that impressive, you can say. So, what about you guys? Like, do you prefer government jobs or private jobs?
So it's not quite the same here in Canada. I know that in India, like it's very good. It definitely is good here in Canada, but people I think don't place as much importance on it. But we know that if you have a government job, that it's really good. It pays well.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of
This is
benefits.
kind of the thought we have, and my family is thinking like if I will be having government job, I will be doing wonders in my life, and they will be very much happy. If I will be doing a private job, like I am at their senior position, then also they will not happy because there's a thought or idea like into their minds that government jobs are better than private jobs. So what about your country? Like they're everything same. Depends on the salary, like how much salary they're
Yeah,
paying accordingly will go
I
like
think
if
there's
like if there's a guy getting 40K from government job and like a 60K from private job, so for what he will be going?
if you had the choice between the government job and the private job that paid more, probably the
Yeah,
private job. Yeah.
that's good to
So
hear, but here in India it's not that. Here
wow.
people go for government job. They will be like, okay, government jobs is okay, so your life will be secured and government is there to take care of your whole family. So this kind of thoughts we guys have. And there is one question coming from Shivans Dwivedi. Like, do Canadians hear Bollywood songs?
Do we what?
Do Canadians hear Bollywood songs?
Oh,
Bollywood songs.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes there's I actually when I was in high school there was a few people that actually performed a Bollywood routine. So there's definitely people here that really appreciate Bollywood. It's not super
That's
common,
good.
but we know what Bollywood is, and if we watch it, it's definitely entertaining, and we really like it.
So, who is your favorite like, actor in our country? Like in a Bollywood, you can say.
The only person I know I think is Priyanka Chopra.
Oh my God, she's an actress. I'm asking about actor. Do you know
Oh,
any actor?
actor. Oh my God,
Yeah.
the guy from Bahubali.
Oh my. Yeah, he's just he's
I
a gem.
love
You can
that
say.
movie.
Yeah,
That was
that's awesome to
brilliant.
hear that you love that movie. Bahubali is super hit movie in our country. Like we are waiting for its second part, and that also came. That also did bad. Yeah, so our heroes from South are really doing great in film industry. That's good to hear that you watch. Like, do you watch Bollywood also? Like, how many movies you have watched? Like
I
around two, three.
watched Bahubali 1 and Bahubali 2. And I watched, there was a few other ones I watched, but I can't remember the name of them. I think it was on
Okay,
Amazon.
so
Yeah.
you love to watch Priyanka Chopra as an actress, and you love to watch that actor from Bahubali, right?
He's so good.
Great to. And what about our singers? Like, do you know any singers which our country have?
Oh, like music?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't remember. There was one, I actually made a few TikToks too. There was a TikTok I made to a Punjabi song, and it was good.
So,
You like that one.
do you know any song? You
I
can
can't.
say.
No,
You
I
can
don't know
sing.
the name of them. Like mostly, like so. What my Punjabi friend, he'll play Punjabi music sometimes, but I don't remember the name.
Okay.
But I like dance along to it because it's really good music.
That's good to hear. Like, and like, really, that's good to hear that you watch our movies, you hear our songs. So yeah, good to hear. Like, we also watch Hollywood. Like, your country follow Hollywood movies, right?
Yeah, we mostly follow Hollywood. I think more so now people will watch things on Netflix. So a lot of those are like Netflix productions. I don't know if they're necessarily made in Hollywood, but that's definitely the most popular place to like watch movies nowadays is like Amazon Prime, Netflix. Yeah, not as much in the movie theaters anymore.
So what about, like, who is your favorite actor from Hollywood? You can say.
Oh my God, Leonardo DiCaprio, hands down.
I haven't heard him. So I don't
He's
want to talk about that. I know Tom Cruise. I know people from Avengers series. I know people from Spartan. So I have watched few movies of Bollywood. You can say I don't
yeah,
watch much movies, but yeah, I love to watch your movies because you guys have very scientific thing. Fiction is like super good in your movies. Okay,
yeah.
so let's talk about Fair and Festival of Canada. Like we have lots of fair and festival in our country. What about your country?
It's different here. Like I was amazed by that when I went to India, like how many people celebrate. I find
Yeah,
that on holidays, people usually spend their time with their family. There are some
yeah.
special festivals outside. Mostly music festivals is where you find a lot of people gathering. Or in cities and towns, there might be like parades and stuff like that to celebrate Canada Day, or the Pride Parade. Canadians are really, really big on gay rights. So there's a lot of celebration for that whenever Pride comes around. Yeah.
Okay. So can you please tell me some kind of festival, like biggest festival of your country, which you
Ooh.
guys celebrate like full with full energy and all that?
Probably Canada Day, but that what probably was the biggest one that people like would celebrate for, and they like, yeah. But it's different than India. Like your festivals, people go out in the streets, and there's like one every month. Like, oh, I would.
We guys celebrate festival in each week. You will say like in every next 7 days we are going to have some kind of festivals and fairs in our country.
Oh
So
my
we are
god,
with rich of it. Let's just visit our country again. I will personally make you explore our country in a better way. You can say now I'm
oh my
connected with
god.
you, and I'm gonna make you explore India in a better way. So like, you will be having that mark. Okay, I have visited such a wonderful country. So I'm gonna make you explore. Okay,
That'd
so
be amazing.
let's talk about weather and tourism and culture, food, etc. Like people
Mm.
wanted to hear about that. Like now people are watching our live, so let's talk about weather, culture, food, style, and all that.
Sure. So the
Okay,
weather here, there's 4 seasons. So we have obviously summer, spring, fall, winter. Each one is very different. Summer can be like as warm, in some cases, as even tropical countries. The fall is really nice. You'll see a lot of the colors on the leaves change. The color of the leaves on the trees will change, and they'll turn bright orange and yellows. It's really, really beautiful. It's something like really amazing to see. The winter is very exciting because we have ice skating. People will make snowmen and have snowball fights. And then the spring is, everything starts to bloom back again. So that aspect of Canada is really amazing to experience all those different things. In terms of tourism, like what do you want to know about the tourism? Like where people.
like tourism. Like how is the tourism of your country? Like how much? Like you must be having idea. Like how your country generate income from tourism. Like which are the famous destination where people generally come and like that. I want to ask.
Yeah, a lot of people come here for tourism, especially like in Halifax, where I'm from. There's like a lot of, or like our home province here, a lot of people come here for that. Quite a few people will visit like Niagara Falls in Ontario. A lot of people visit Vancouver and British Columbia, the Canadian Rockies in Alberta, Jasper. That's very common too.
Okay, good to hear. And what like food? Which kind of food do you guys have? Like, is that normal to purchase? Like, not expensive. Being an Indian, we first see the money tag. You can say like wherever we go, okay, how much that cost? So this is the thing. Like if I'll come to India, so which kind of food I'll be having in a budget range? You can say.
Pizza, Poutine.
Yeah. Pizza. We guys have much. Yeah, it's kind of good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ha, Gupta blogs, thanks. Canada, so like, can you please tell me something about agriculture system of your country? There's one friend Arun is asking. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the agriculture here happens in the west provinces of Canada. In Nova Scotia, we have a lot of smaller farms, but I think that most of the production will come from, especially in terms of wheat, legumes, lentils, that will come from the prairie provinces. So Manitoba,
Okay.
Saskatchewan, Alberta, that's like the mid part of Canada. Um, over, we have really, really good quality milk here. Canada has very, very high standards for the quality of milk. And a lot of that actually will come locally. So in the stores here, if you buy milk, it comes from a local farm within the province.
Okay. So
Also, there's
like
a lot of farmers markets too, so you can get local produce. That's very common as well for you to be able to get local produce and purchase local.
it's a people there in Canada are dependent on agriculture, not like your country is too advanced in terms of technology. So do you guys prefer agriculture or technology? Like service
Oh,
sector or agriculture sector? I want to ask.
oh, for people that are looking for employment or.
Yeah, like suppose you are there, so you like personally wanted to work in fields, or like here in India there's a concept like if you're working in a field, you're not that rich, you're not that you're not having that status. So what about then Canada? Like people working in fields are having that status or not
People
in
would
society?
definitely prefer to be working in technology because I think it's so much more profitable. For farming to be profitable, it would have to be, you'd have to have such scale to do that. And but with that being said, there are definitely people like in smaller communities that will do some hobby farming on the side, where they might grow
Okay.
herbs and stuff and sell it as a market. But professionally, people definitely would prefer, I think, generally to work in technology if you had the choice.
Okay. So what do you think about current economic situation in Canada? Do you feel that living there is economically better or not, like in comparison to other countries?
It's
What do you
definitely,
think?
yeah, we definitely are advantaged here. A lot of people here might not realize that because they don't understand like how privileged they are to grow up here and have the Canadian citizenship and the opportunities here. But there's definitely, yeah, an advantage.
Oh, this comment coming from Mank. Hi, Mank. Thank you so much for appreciating. Dheeraj, hi, Radhe, Radhe. And just say Radhe, Radhe to Dheeraj. Can you say that? Radhe, Radhe.
Rade, rade.
Oh, thanks. I love that dance.
Rade,
Okay. So I have question like let's talk about weekend escape. Like where do you go when you need a break from your normal life, regular life? Where do you go?
I would go to see my family in the South Shore. So I have my family owns some land down there, and my grandmother still lives there. So sometimes I'll go down to visit her. It's really beautiful there. We have a small cottage on this little island, so that's like a
Okay.
really amazing escape. Yeah.
And what are these like if you call if you don't call a home your like Canada, then what are the places you would like to live? Like this is my basic question. You
Oh,
can say.
I really love the Caribbean. I love Caribbean countries. I've been to Trinidad and Tobago. I've been to Costa Rica and Jamaica. I love those places. I've gone to Florida and California. I really love like warm tropical weather and
Okay.
culture. So anywhere like that is like another place I'd love to stay and visit. But I think this is probably like my home. But in terms of like vacationing or spending like longer time periods, um,
Okay.
and India too.
Yeah, there's comment coming from Gupta blogs. Indian culture is the best. So, like, what do you think about Indian culture? Like, you have already been there in India, like
I
for a
think it's
month, you can say.
amazing.
So, what do you think
I
about?
love the values that people have. I find that like Indians are very supportive of one another, and they're like the best of friends. Like if I'm really like needing something, I'm like I know I can call on an Indian friend and they'll be there for me. Like they just value their like connections so much. The food is phenomenal. Like you just can't get better.
Thanks so much.
It's amazing. And I love tea. I love I love
Tea is
chai.
like you can say, like for a student, tea is a love. You can say, like since morning to evening, like if you'll offer tea to students, they will always welcome that. So teas are love. Yeah, that makes us more study more. You can say. So I have this like, can you share three special places that you should know about in Canada? Like why you personally adore them? Like the three places of Canada that you personally adore and you would like to visit again and again.
Okay. So I haven't been to like the Western provinces, but those are like
Okay.
very nice for people to see. I would definitely go back to Montreal. I love the culture there. It's a beautiful city. Cape Breton is amazing. That's in Nova Scotia. And um, where else in Canada? I do like Peggy's Cove. As a lot of locals think that it's not that special because we're used to it, but it's beautiful there. It's a really special spot.
Hi Arshit. Hi. Thanks for appreciating me. Okay. So like Avlas is asking like what about marriage system in Canada? Like we do guys have our family interference in our marriages. So what about your country? So like do you have that family interference?
So a little bit, not too much. Like obviously, you would want your family to accept like your husband or wife or your life partner. So
Okay.
like in terms of that, yes. And traditionally speaking, like not as much my generation, but the generation before mine, it was, or even before that, you had to have like your parents' approval to accept like their hand in marriage. And in the wedding
Okay.
ceremony, like I think the father walks the daughter down the aisle, and it's kind of symbolic, I guess, of like them approving of the partner. But that's not really as common in these generations. But of course, like you want your family to get along, so
So let's take an example. Let's take example. Like I want to marry to a girl which like she's from different religions. She's from different caste. So would your parents will going to allow to marry?
Oh, we don't have
Yeah.
a caste system here, so it wouldn't really
Uh,
be like a problem. Yeah,
that,
just
that
as long
sounds
as
good. Like
yeah,
that sounds good.
as long as you love the person and are happy, that's what matters.
So in the end, all matters is the person you want to marry. Like your parents will be supportive enough to make you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had this question. This is a very critical question. You can say like what annoys you about Canada? Like some cultural classes you have personally felt. Feel free to share as you can share some
Okay.
cultural classes which you have seen in Canada.
Oh, what I don't like about Canada?
Yeah.
I find that. Okay, let me think.
Yeah, you have to think like it's a country now. You have to. We guys also want to know. Like everybody has some exceptions. Are there all? So there
Oh,
must be
I
something which you are not like. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of like so this is what I love about Indian culture. People are a lot more comfortable with physical touch. Like it's normal to put your arm around a friend or to like touch them. But in Canada, people
Okay.
like people get really like jumped by that, and they kind of like
Okay. So they're like, "Hi,
this.
friend," and they want to hug you like anything, right? This is what you want to say.
You'll hug them,
Uh,
but if you're hanging out and you're like touching their arm and stuff, like they might feel uncomfortable. I think it's because we have so much space here. So like people were never forced to be like in closer quarters. So
okay.
our physical space that we're comfortable with tends to be like more than other places. So I wish that people were more comfortable with like platonic intimacy. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. So
Yeah.
Siddhant is asking the Canada favorite things. We have already discussed, I think, this thing. Umesh Joshi, Monu sir, good evening. Good evening. Dheeraj Monu bhai, tum Ram Ram. Okay, Ram Ram. Can you say this word Ram Ram?
Ram ram.
Yeah, this is a
Okay.
like God. Like, yeah. Have you heard about the Ram temple which we have in our
Yes.
UP? Have you visited that?
I didn't visit it. I wanted to.
This is like our most place ever in a country. Like people were fighting since 500 years for that same place, and now we are going to have our own temple for our god Ram. So yeah. Okay, let's discuss something informative. As a student, how is it? How is the scope of education there in Canada for basically Indian student? Like I want to pursue my masters from Canada. So what are the scope for me?
I think it'll be a lot easier for you than a Canadian because your primary through 12 system is much more intensive than ours. So generally, I think you probably would have an easier time in some cases than Canadians. Although I can't speak too much to that because I didn't do a master's, but I
Okay.
know that your any education you had at least before university is going to be so much more intensive than that of Canadians, especially in math.
Okay, so I want to pursue my masters, specialize in MBA. You can say I want to pursue my masters in MBA. So what will be the scope for me? Like, will I be getting any scholarship from Canadian government?
I don't
Like,
think so. I don't think that the Canadian government would offer scholarship. I know that here it's very expensive for international students,
okay,
and that's definitely I think somewhere that Canada can improve is lowering those costs for international students because they in some cases are even double that of um, for what a Canadian would pay. And I think that it's like too much. So I think that the schools need to lower their tuition prices.
so if I'll get
Yeah.
an admission in some private university, so the people like who are running private university, they will going to offer me a scholarship, not not about this government. Okay, Anika
Oh,
from South
the school
Africa. Hi, good
itself might
afternoon.
offer. Yeah. Sorry, what
Okay,
was that?
so there's a lady Anika. She's from South Africa. She's saying hi, good afternoon. Good
Oh my
afternoon.
gosh, hi.
Thanks for joining our live. So the next question which I have, like, what are the some words that only Canadian people often say? Like in our day, you speak that word many a times. So what are the some words?
Some words that we would say. We say the word a quite a bit.
Okay.
What else do we say? That's a tough question. That's a tough question.
No, just like for us, like So there should be some few words which you guys love to speak.
Oh my gosh, that's really tough. We say yeah quite a bit. Like yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I got this answer. Like, what are the like? Are Canadians really very polite and apologetic? As I have researched about Canada, and I found this, like, the Canadians are so polite in nature. So is that true? Like, I want to know about
Very
like
yeah.
personally.
We really value people saying the word thank you, saying please, excuse me. People will hold the door for you. Less so in like bigger cities, but I find that
Okay,
in small towns, like people will say hi to you if you're passing them on the street. They'll ask you that they might strike a conversation with you if you don't even know them. So it's yeah, people are very very like kind.
okay. There's one question coming from Anika. What your favorite beach place from anywhere in the world? Like, what is your favorite beach place? Do you love
Oh my
beach?
favorite beach place.
Yeah.
Wow, I have to say the of all the ones I've been to so far, Trinidad was like no Tobago. Oh my God, Tobago was amazing.
Where it is?
So Tobago is part of it's the so Trinidad and Tobago are two islands. It's one country and it's in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Hi Raj, how are you? Do you have any question regarding Canada? You can ask us. So, okay, so like there's one question. What do outsiders mostly assume wrongly about Canadian life, society, and culture?
I think that a lot of people, this is a bit of controversial thing, but people think that the healthcare here is really, really good, but it's actually very, very hard to access because it's completely privatized. So it's very hard,
Okay,
especially in the East Coast, to get a family doctor. Um, I think I don't know too much else. I guess some of these ones are hard for me to think of because I grew up here. So I have traveled, but it's like
okay, got it. Hari Babu, Monu, you are the hero future. Thanks for appreciating my work. He's the one. He's appreciating my work, like whatever I'm doing. So I got
oh,
appreciation from Hari Babu. Thanks. Okay, so let me ask a question. Like, what do Canadians think about the last wave of immigration to their country? Like, people are coming from across the globe to Canada. So, what do you guys think about that immigration? Sir?
so I think a lot of older
They
people
got
don't understand. Yeah, a lot of older people don't understand that it's really good for the economy. So sometimes they're frustrated because they think that people are like taking the jobs, but it's not true. A lot of younger people are very happy about it. People in a lot of different professions think it's good because we know that people coming here means that it's going to boost the economy and be very good for economic growth and of course generating more cultural diversity. So yeah,
yeah. There's
people
one
a
question
lot of
coming
people are
from.
happy about it.
Okay, Raj is asking like, what about the singing in Canada? As well as I know that every second person of Canada is fond of singing. Is that true? Every second person of Canada is fond of singing.
We like to sing.
Yeah, that's what you want to ask.
I mean, most people, like my whole family, pretty much sings. Like if there's music playing, a lot of us will sing, and I guess about 50% of us like to sing. So in my circle, that's accurate. Yeah.
Okay, that's Rahul Sharma. Hi Rahul. How are you? Do you have any question regarding Canada? You can ask us. Okay, so like, how do Canadians feel about British monarchy? This question I have put like with history related to fact.
Honestly, the queen doesn't really do much. Like I think she's just kind of like I think it's a courteous thing that they just kind of like have her connected still. Um,
Okay,
I don't. A lot of people, I don't think they mind much. People sometimes will like do a queen wave, like
okay. So regarding this question, there was a question coming in my mind. Like, do you guys feel like the Americans and the British are too powerful than us? Like, you guys, like, do you guys jealous of them or not? Like, how do you think about Britishers and Americans? Like, they are
about
also very
America.
developed. Yeah, like
It
they're
depends.
also from developed nation.
As a
Okay.
general rule of thumb, a lot of Canadians think that Americans are more rude because they're not as polite as us. But if
Okay.
someone's more, if people are more traveled, they know that it really just depends on the person themselves. A lot of Canadians also think that Americans are maybe ignorant of us because we're so close, but they know so little about us, and they assume a lot of things. But like I know a lot of Americans. I love the Americans I know.
Okay.
But like other people that I talk to, like that seems to be like a common opinion, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay, got it. There's one question coming from Anika. How cold is Canada? Is it still blizzard there? How cold is
No,
Canada?
honestly, because of global warming, it's getting a lot warmer, which is kind of scary. It depends where you are. Some places in Canada are much colder than others. The western provinces are very cold. Here is actually fairly mild. We've been getting a lot of rain this winter so far. Some warmer days. There's been snow. There's a pretty broad temperature range in the winter. It could be like plus 17. It could be like minus 15 or 20. It just depends
Okay.
on the day.
So right now, where you are living, what is the temperature of your region?
Ah, let me check.
So just you can tell me approximately. You can say you don't have to be very
Oh no, I haven't been
specific.
outside yet today. Toronto, Nova
How much?
Scotia.
How much it is there? How much?
It's minus 5 degrees Celsius right now.
And here in India, I think we have plus 20 regard like that. 25. Okay.
Oh, that sounds so
We
nice.
are we are bomb country compared to Canada. You know.
Wow.
So, okay, do Canadians and American experience cultural shocks in each other country?
No,
Like when America, I mean, you don't find that culture shock.
not at all. I've been to the States. The biggest difference for me was that there's more food options. It's busier, and then people are not as polite in some places. Um, but some places they were even more polite. It really depended on the state that I was in and the city and the town.
You know what? This question is again coming. Like already people have asked it. Like Rajvas is asking, Kathleen, you are really cheerful girl. So this is the appreciation. And
Oh,
and this one he's asking like I have a question that most of Punjabis settled in Canada. What is the exact reason about it? This question is very popular among us.
I know. I should
Like
text my friend.
like yeah, guys,
I think it's the
tell him
culture.
again. Like what is the exact reason?
I think
Yeah.
it's the culture and the land, like the landscapes we have here. And I think that
Okay.
it's also seen as a better place, more accepting place than the States.
Just the culture that attracts
Yeah.
Punjabi more, and that's why they wanted to settle in Canada. Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So, and the last question which I want to ask to you, there's one question I have. If you have to make a tagline for Canada, what would be according to you?
I've had to make a tagline. That's a good question. I would say, hmm. It would be something about like we're accepting.
Like through that line, you can describe whole Canada. I can say our country is like incredible India. You can say so. That's how you can describe your country.
Hmm. Diverse and free.
Diverse and free. Yeah. So your country is very diverse in terms of
Hmm.
culture, food. That's good to hear. Great work,
Yeah.
Monu and Kathleen. Yeah, there's one appreciation coming from Anika and Avlas. Great work, Monu and Kathleen. I love your work. Keep exploring world. Thank you both. Take care. Blessed. Bye. So this is just the
Oh,
appreciation. Okay. Then there are 2 minutes left. So let's open this around for the audience. Like what they want to ask. You can ask anything. You can ask some personal questions also, like related to her. Like you want to ask. You can ask. We will try to answer those questions. I think nobody is speaking anything. Okay. Meanwhile we can know about your experience. Like as a child till now, how's your experience about your life? Like what did you do? How did you grow up actually? Can you please tell me that detail?
yeah. So I grew up in a fairly like where I grew up. It was very very remote. So I grew up
Okay.
in the country. Like there was almost the closest house was like there was two across the street. Next closest one was like 1 kilometer down the road. So I spent a lot of time in nature as a child, a lot of time being very curious, exploring outside. I did a lot of drawing when I was little. As I got older, I focused very much on school and my studies. I was into sports. And once I got out of college and I did 2 years of university, and I found that I didn't really like it. So I decided to travel and gain more life experiences. And that was when I more so found different arts, and I found hula hooping as well. And that really became where my passion went. So I decided to start pursuing that instead. So since that happened, I decided that that's where my happiness was, and I wanted to make that a priority.
Okay, so you was telling me one day that I was there working in a travel industry, and now I started working in a real estate field. So how come that conversion took place in your life? That's I want to know.
Yeah. So I found out about real estate about a few years ago. A lot of the reason why I did so many different things was because I wanted to gain a variety of experience. So that's why I think I did circus, I did tourism, I was in the commercial cleaning industry, and then real estate was another thing that I saw as a way to have stability and be able to learn about building like wealth. And that was my
Okay.
main motivation for understanding it. And I also, like, as much as I'm very artistic, I have a lot of passion for business as well. And real estate
Okay.
is something that really like intrigued me. And that's, I guess, how I started learning about that. And I had good
That's
connections.
great.
That was how I got into it.
Okay, so real estate is something new to me. I never been to this field, so I don't have much idea. Okay, there's one question coming from Rajvas. Is there any charge for entrepreneurs like tax, like who want to start something new in your country? Like, is there any tax they have to pay to government?
Yes. So depending on if you're like a solopreneur, then you have to pay income taxes. It depends on how much you make as an
Okay,
entrepreneur. If you're incorporated, you'll have different taxation rules for that versus if you're a sole proprietor. So it really
okay,
depends on like legally how you set it up.
okay. And Umesh is like, what is the famous game of Canada? Like here in India, cricket is very famous. So what about your country?
Hockey,
Hockey?
100% hockey. Yeah. Canadians love
Hockey
hockey.
and hockey is a national game. So yeah, and we are best in that game. Do you know? Do
Nah,
you know that?
Canadians are the best.
I don't know, but we have won many semi-finals, finals. You can say. Okay, that the team will decide. We're not to decide who is best. So it's okay. Astos, love from India. Hi, thanks. Astos is saying love from India for you.
Oh, it's Ashtos.
So, guys, it was a great conversation, and I hope this live will become an engagement and informative live. So, do you want to say something for me or for my audience? And then,
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in today. It was really fantastic. Thank you so much, Monu, for having me. I've really enjoyed chatting and sharing about Canada.
it's my pleasure. Say something in Hindi that makes sense to my people.
Hmm.
Say something in Hindi if you can say, if you can share.
Okay. मैंने
Yeah.
बनाई पाव भाजी और बहुत अच्छे स्वाद थे.
Okay. Nice having you. Bye bye, Kathleen. See you soon. And bye
Bye.
bye, guys. So your love like this. We'll be coming live next Saturday with Dubai. Yeah, we'll be exploring Dubai next Saturday. Stay tuned. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, everyone.